In terms of what I've seen already, is I've seen how Mark goes into different organisations, different clubs, different areas to talk to these young men about what this knife crime is doing, and how you can change your lifestyle. And I think having someone who's probably lived that life himself, he'd readily admit that, and I know that because I've been to some of his talks, um, and the impact it's had on him, the impact it's had on his family. And, I take my hat off to him. And, like I said, for me, he's a modern day hero because he's going into these talks day in, day out, and he has to relive his son's death day in, day out. And, you can only, I've got kids and I sit there and I think, how would I be able to cope with telling someone that my son's lost his life because he tried to protect someone that was being bullied, and stepped in the way of someone getting knifed and losing his life when he had arguably what would have been a glittering career ahead of him. I think it's a great idea. At first, I was, well, how is this going to impact? And then you start to think about, hopefully people, loads of these guys play FIFA, and to see this and think, well, you know, I sit here and I think about, him losing his life, and not just him losing his life, but his family. A small part of their lives were lost. The guy that committed the murder went into prison, so his family's life was lost. So it's the impact that, leaving your house with a knife. There's an intention, whether that intention is to protect yourself or to take somebody else's life. We've got to get this out of people's minds, and we're certainly hoping anything that we can do, and hopefully this is something that might be able to prick someone's conscience and go, well, you know what, let's put this knife down, and let's not go out with this knife. And I've said to a couple of people today, I went to school around the corner from this football club, which is Shepherd's Bush. I lived in Labrador Grove, and to think, if I fast forward or go back in time to when I was going to school and think about now, me leaving Labrador Grove and coming to Shepherd's Bush, what's going on in this country at the moment? You're going from one postcode to another and can lose your life just because you come from I just can't comprehend it. And, anything that we can do now as a club, as a community, as individuals, to try and change someone's mindset is what we've got to do. And this hopefully is what we're seeing Kiyan in this game may change some people's mindset in terms of what we've done. The community guys, Andy Evans and the people that run the community organisation here at this football club have done some fantastic things over the years, for no recognition, because I don't want that recognition. Unfortunately, because what's happened to Kiyan and what happened at Grenfell meant that the community got some recognition, and rightly so, because they do some amazing things behind the scenes. But I think they would say, the signing of Kiyan will be one of the major things that's ever happened at this football club. Well, there wasn't, but I think obviously with this game coming into place, I think something will be done, and hopefully, the legacy that he would have had, and looking at the bright career that he would have had, can be talked about, and it will be talked about, because I'm sitting here doing this, and hopefully this will snowball into to bigger things and get the conversation going again. He's a massive inspiration to everybody, because as I touched on, to have to relive this day in, day out. I spoke to him today, and I've seen him already. We've exchanged, and I said, how's it going? And he said he broke down today. He said he spoke to the first journalist he spoke to, broke down, because he's reliving everything again. And, he's been doing that day in, day out. And he's shown an amazing amount of strength and courage to be able to do this. But, as he says, if his actions can just save one life, then that's one life, or that's one family doesn't have to go through what he's gone through.